Welcome to Lesson 11 of PSRM Fundamentals Overview. Here we'll be discussing suppressions. We will explain what suppressions are and how they are used, configured, and what effect they have. We'll see that a suppression can actually stop processes like an overpayment and put them on hold, and suppress charges like P&I. And we will see what happens when you release a suppression or you cancel it. Third quarter that we just created an overpayment for. And you will see, if you remember, that we are in credit still of $195 after sending out a direct debit for $1,200. There was an offset as well, and the whole account is in credit to $195. Now, when we set up a suppression, we can suppress different types of processes. The three processes that you can suppress are overpayments. That overpayment will not be created, cannot be sent out, and we'll be looking at that example. You can also actually suppress a P&I and also overdue processes as well. So generally, suppressions work together with other case management functionality like appeals, audit, and bankruptcy. But here we're going to create a manual one so that we can fully understand how suppressions work. So we're going to start with by creating a suppression, a manual suppression. Actually, I am going to do this in a different tab, so we have always our financials open. We're going to do a manual suppression. We're going to suppress all different types of processes. We'll see in a moment. And we will suspend overdue process, overpayment process, and P&I. And what we'll do it from the beginning of, let's say, from October. Let's say the reason for this particular suppression is some type of audit case, and we're going to suppress on an obligation level. We're going to suppress our account, which we know store BBB, and we're going to pick up the third quarter. And as I said, we're going to suppress from beginning of October, and we'll see what effects this should have. When we create a suppression, it doesn't have any effect yet because it's still impending. Now, when we actually activate this suppression, the expectation is that since P&I is covered as a suppressed process, anything from the beginning of October which has been P&I has been created will be suppressed. That means if I actually look at my example here and I look at my interest, let's say, and look at the dates, you see the dates are 11, 15, 12, November, December. These should all be suppressed. Failure to file starts in mid-October, so that should be suppressed, and so should this be suppressed as well. So in fact, all our P&I will be suppressed, and we should actually get a higher. We should have a overpayment which is in excess of 195. In fact, we'll see in a moment what will happen. Okay, so what we will do is first of all activate it. And you see the balance has gone to 400. Let's display allocation. And you see actually there are actually no P&I at all, as expected. And now we have a overpayment amount of 400. What would happen now if I actually try to create an overpayment? So I'm going to try to create an overpayment here. Doesn't matter, let me see, whatever I refund amount method. And as you see, the status is set on hold. Overpayment placed on hold due to suppression. Because of it's been suppressed, we can actually create the overpayment either. Okay, so if I actually want to just suppress P&I would have to take out take out this particular overpayment process from suppression, and then it will be able to continue on its way. So if I now, let's say, go back to my suppression, I have two options here. I can cancel the suppression, and after I cancel the suppression, we will see what will happen. We will cancel it. It says, for example, we cancel it because incorrect obligation, let's say. So this was suppression was made incorrectly. Obviously, it cancels it. The charges P&I have now been placed back on because they were incorrectly placed, and I have P&I placed. And I would be able to also go ahead and process my overpayment process and for my 195. Okay, so that makes sense. Now there was another option instead of cancelling it, and that was simply to complete it without cancelling. And I just want to show you the effect of that. So what I'm going to do is do one more time, create another suppression, but instead of cancelling it, we're going to choose to release it. And you'll see the difference between releasing and cancelling, which is very important. Let's just change these dates. So let me save this. I'm going to activate it. Again, this should now affect the balance. Now, if I try to release it, instead of cancelling, let's see, I want to show you the difference. First of all, when do I want to release it? And let's say I want to release it today, and the status reason is taxpayer review complete. Interesting. The balance has not gone down to what it was previously. Let's have a look to see here the effect. And what do we see? We see that let's have a look. There's still some interest, but not as much interest as there was previously. Right, there's just the interest from today. And failure to file is also for today, and failure to pay was also actually is also actually there, but only one charge. And the reason here is because I paid late, and it has been released. But in fact, we see that it's been calculated to the next time, but the fact is, since we've actually released it today, charges are coming in. However, any charges in between the 10th and of basically from October till today have been completely removed. They have not come back not once I've released the suppression. And that is the concept of a suppression which is in the status of released. Released does not mean cancelled. It means that you will forever, these PNI charges will be suppressed, and the only time they can actually be removed is if I had actually cancelled the suppression. So that's very important to understand the difference between released and cancelled, and the concept being that when you're under some sort of audit, you want to suppress specific charges forever for a particular amount of time. So for that particular time, from the beginning of October till end of December, all charges have been, PNI have been removed. However, obviously, if I create a overpayment process now, since the suppression has been released, I will be able to create an overpayment process. In the future, I will be able to create an overdue. But in between that particular time, I would not have been able to create any of those processes. So if we just have a look, a summary, we've shown what suppression is. We have seen that there are different things that you can suppress. You can suppress PNI, overdue, and overpayment. You can suppress different entities, whether it's on the person account, tax roll, obligation. Any of that hierarchy that you can do. If, for example, if you suppress the whole person, then everything underneath it will be suppressed. And we saw the life cycle of the suppression, which moves from pending, and once it's active, those entities are suppressed. If it's cancelled, everything is removed. If it's released, PNI will still be suppressed for that particular period.